In this video, I am going to show you how you can take a complicated YMYL, include EEAT article that you need written and have ChatGPT help you with writing this article. Now, we all know you can't just do AI writing. So people did that for the past year, and that's not working out very well for them, not most of them. So what I'm going to teach you today is how you can combine these two together with good editorial experience. I did some of this ahead of time so that it won't take us so long in this video. And so that's where we're going to go. So now I'm in my chat. Now this is using ChatGPT 4. Okay, so I do pay for this. And the main thing is you've got to do your pre-prompting first. And I'm going to teach you how you do that. So this way you can continue to train the AI to write what you want to write without it starting to spit out the content right away. Because a lot of times what will happen is you'll start telling AI to do something, and then if you click enter, it'll start doing it whether you were finished with your instructions or not, and also without making sure that it clearly understands. If you don't do it this way, then you're going to be continuing to ask it to rewrite. And I have found that as it rewrites and rewrites, it gets worse and worse each time. So, it's just, I don't know, it's like it's trying to beat itself and it can't. So this is for a chiropractor website that I work on. And so I'm going to help you here, and we're going to start with me here. And first I say, please make sure you read the content on this about page. This is for the doctor so-and-so. Do not write anything until I type, let's go. See, that's the key there. And then I put the link in there, and then I say, do you understand? And so GPT says, I've read the content on the about page for Dr. So-and-so. You can proceed when you're ready. Then I said, he is in the city and state that he's in. He wants to make sure his articles rank on Google page 1. So all the writing we do must be SEO'd and yet still make sense. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. And then we see if it understands. He goes, content needs to be optimized for SEO and still make sense to readers. We'll focus on incorporating relevant keywords naturally, structuring articles with clear, informative headers, and ensuring the content is engaging and informative. This approach will help articles rank well on Google while still providing value to the reader. And then he's saying, let's go, and I'm not ready yet, right? So I said, we also want to make sure not to cannibalize the content on the website. Because what happens is when you ask AI to write an article for you, it's going to write starting from the very generic stuff and going into the topic. So what I have found, because I'm doing this a lot for chiropractors and doctors and dentists and people like that, so what we find is what happens is if I say, let's write an article about how chiropractors can help get rid of your headaches, what it's going to do, and it doesn't have any background information. What AI is going to start doing is it's going to start explaining what chiropractic care is. And we don't want that because that's already on the website, okay? That's the very first thing you talk about on the website. So all of that stuff is already there. We don't want them rehashing and cannibalizing that content. We want them to be very specific and avoid a fluff. So that's the other thing you're going to do as we're doing this, is making sure it understands when it starts to write that it should not be using fluff. Okay, so now the other thing is you don't want it to be too informal, because then the words aren't going to make sense in high grade level. So typically my rule is you don't want to write above grade 6 or 7, but in medical words and medical terms, so for anything like dentists, doctors, plastic surgeons, chiropractors, people like that, healthcare professionals, what happens is just the word chiropractor and acupuncture alone are too big of a words for a 6th or 7th grade level. So it doesn't know how to dumb that down. So you give some leeway with AI and yourself, because you do have to write at a little higher level than what most humans read when you're in these types of niches. Okay, so then he says, I said, so you want to make sure you don't cannibalize the content on the website. So don't repeat information that's already on the blog articles. This includes things like the very basics of chiropractic care. This has already been covered on the website. Do you understand? Understood. I'll make sure to create content that complements what's already on Dr. David website without repeating the basic information about chiropractic care. We'll focus on adding new insights and value to avoid content cannibalization. Ready to start whenever you are. And then I said, this is the blog category of his page because I want to make sure that it's read that page. And he says, yes, I've reviewed it. You can proceed on. I said, okay, now we're going to write an article about chiropractic care during pregnancy. Now I'm going to add my own geotag after that, but this is just so that it will start to write it. So you don't ask it to write the article. If you ask it to write the article, you're going to get like 500 to 600 words, and it's going to be short, like these little things here, this one, two, the outline, it's going to be this and then a sentence, this, and it's going to be really bad. Okay, so you don't want to do that. So how you get it to do good, deep, valuable content is you're going to ask it to do it in steps. So the first thing I say is, please write the outline for this article following all of the above instructions, and then the magic words, let's go. So now AI knows that it can start writing. Okay, I've given him permission to start the writing. So then it gives me an article outline. Now I'm going to look at this article outline and make sure, and especially in this introduction, to make sure it's not repetitive, which it's not. That's fine. And this is fine. So I'm just going to look through and see if these things are good. That's good. Yeah, this is all pretty good. Okay. The only thing that, and then here we'll have to add in our own stories and case studies. And I don't ever use conclusions, so I'm not going to worry about that with AI because I don't want it to confuse it and rewrite another outline. So I'm just going to leave the conclusion there. I could have put that up here in the instructions, but it's not a big deal. I can just delete that when I'm typing. And then the call to action, of course, we're going to do our own call to action because we already have structured call to actions that we're going to implement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part now, and I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to go, okay, great. Now let's do this section. I always say section. I don't say number 5, number 4, or anything like that, because I'm going to always repeat the section myself. This is how you're going to get better quality content from AI. And then we don't want any fluff. So make sure this is valuable content that adds a lot of value for the reader. Okay. Okay. Make sure to establish EAT for Dr. All right, so then we're going to go to the copy and paste that. And I think that's good to go. Let's see what it does. There we go. All right, so now, yep, it's starting to add the keywords in there. Yeah, okay. All right, that's pretty good for an introduction. So what we're going to do is I will copy this, come over to a blank document, and I'm just going to paste that in there for now. I'm not going to worry, and I don't write the word introduction in my articles, so I don't worry about that. The thing I really don't like is these long paragraphs that AI does, even when you tell it to shorten it. So I don't even bother to tell it anymore to shorten it because it's not going to. So I just come in here and create my own paragraphs as an editor, and I'll come through here and read this all later and edit it. Okay, so it may not, so let me just see. Oh, okay, we need to change one thing in here. All right, there's something I forgot. I want it first and second person. So then we're just going to say, please rewrite this section, I forgot to mention to write in first and second person. All right, let's see what happens here. Yeah, your baby. Okay, good. We're getting, this is what I wanted. Okay, that's a lot more what I wanted. So what I'm going to do is actually come over here, makes it a little shorter. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it did. Okay, it did fine. So we're going to take this off, and then I'm going to go back here and then copy this one. This is much better. And we'll get rid of that. And then break it up. So it says health of your baby. That's what I want. Enhancing your comfort. Yeah, that's what I want. So I want to make sure understands. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to come back up here to where chat gave us this, and then we're going to copy this part here, and we're going to say, please write this next section, and I'm going to repeat again. Okay, and then we'll just type that in there. And we'll see what it comes up with for that part. So I know this takes a while, and I just kind of want to show you how you do this. It's very simple to do. We'll only do, I don't want to, let's see how long have we been, I'm trying to see how long. I don't see my timer on here. So I can't tell how long I've been filming already, and I know, you know, you guys want it fast and everything. It's just hard in this kind of stuff. Okay, so we're going to take this here, and we're going to add on. So what's going to happen is I'm going to add this part here, and then we'll see how long this piece is. And then afterwards, what we're going to do is check our word count and make sure it's a good size. Since it's a medical article, basically, it's going to have to be a lot, and there's a lot of competition in this space. It's going to have to be pretty much, okay, this is good here. I don't like, I'd like it to be just a little bit more. So I think what I'm going to do here is I think of benefits of chiropractor, it should be the longest one. And I said, so I'm going to say, can you please provide a bullet list of all of the benefits to getting chiropractic care during pregnancy. Use more than what you have stated above. All right, let's see what. There we go. I like that, right? Yeah. I like this a lot better. So we can leave those two paragraphs and then back it up with bullet points. Okay, and so we're going to take that, copy that, paste it over here, and this is going to be a lot nicer. So, you know, we'll just take this off and do our bullets and so forth, and we'll come back and do that later. Oops. Oh well. Okay, that can be done later. So anyway, I like this. This is great. All right, then we're going to go back here. So you see, it does take a little while, but you're going to get much better written content. All right, and we're going to go through and you're just going to come in, we'll do one more together. So we'll go say, continue, now continue with this next section. And now it should know, it should be trained enough to know to say you, your, Dr. Dresner, thing, and it's doing, and I see that. So I can see that right now it's doing it good. So that's very good. Well, let's see. Say, she should say you might be worrying about, you know. So I would say, please rewrite this section again using first and second person, and make sure that, yeah, there we go. Okay. So sometimes you have to ask, you got to just don't assume that AI knows what it's doing. AI makes a ton of mistakes. So just understand that. You need to know that you know more than AI actually, as far as how the writing and the content and everything goes, right? And you can see if it's done it in the right person, you know, and all that kind of stuff, right tone of voice, etc. All right, so there we go with that one. And that's how you keep doing this. And so we're going to keep on going, and we should end up with an article of about 1,800 words. You'll never get that if you just did it straight out and asked it to write an article ever. That's never going to happen. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 more sections to do. And I'm not going to bore you with going through them all. But that's what you're going to do. Then you're going to come over to your article and you're going to read it, and you're going to be I'll update Grammarly later. And then you're going to make sure that it's correct. You know, we send it to our chiropractors for review because it is a medical thing. I do know a lot about chiropractic because I've been working for doing marketing, social media, writing, blogging, and websites and Google My Business pages for we've been doing them, for over 20 years for chiropractors. So we really understand, this is one of the niches that we really understand, along with real estate and e-commerce and small businesses and service-based businesses. So this is, we're going to go through it myself before I send it over to the doctor for his review. The main thing that the doctors look for, not so much the content, but that we never use the word chiropractor in a way that their state that they live in doesn't allow them to use it. So for instance, in Florida, we're not allowed to use the word, well, with chiropractor saying that he's an expert chiropractor, not allowed to use the word expert or expertise. So we want to make sure that that's not in here, and etc. So I've seen AI do that a lot, trying to establish the EAT, but unfortunately in this field, in the space of chiropractic and acupuncture, legally in some states you're not allowed to use that word. So you want to make sure you understand also, if you're writing for other people, that you understand all the laws and everything regarding what kind of content you can write and what words you can use. So hopefully this will help you. This will create a really good, the content is really good. It ranks really well. We will edit this so it's not just, it'll be human written content. It's just that I'm just having AI support me and help me write it better. And then, you know, and of course I'm improving it. So this is a great way for you to write really high quality articles, especially in YMYL spaces. So I don't always recommend using straight AI writers. So I am an affiliate and I love Neuron Writer and SEO Writer AI. But those you want to use for your hobby niches, your small service businesses, things that are not medical, not about supplements. I would say not about acupuncture or therapy, things like that. I wouldn't go there. This is the better format to use, and it's worth paying the $21 a month to have ChatGPT 4 on your systems. Okay, so I'm using ChatGPT 4. It's worth using that in this situation. So please leave me any questions that you have, and happy writing.